everyone, and welcome to the Roundup on the Yellow Corner with myself, Madam Che. Today, for the first time on the Roundup, I have two guests. Oh my God, but we'll forgive. we'll forgive. And I feel like technology, I'm holding the mic a little hot today. But anyway, KG, welcome.
Thank you.
How are you doing?
I'm all good. I'm good.
Praten, how are you?
So.
Lehipi KG, the faceless now has a face. Lehipi, this gent, all the time to me. How are you doing?
No, I'm good.
How are you feeling after the loss? How are you feeling? Because you also got a child.
No, it's fine. We're here for Sundowns. We're here for Sundowns.
Yeah. But speaking about Sundowns, so there was a game. Mamelodi Sundowns versus Orlando Pirates. And hands were caught.
Yeah, no, hands were caught.
Were given.
Hands were caught by the Spanish.
Pirates beat Sundowns for the first time in 4 years.
Yes, and it was convincing. It was not a
competence.
Yeah, it was.
But do you guys think the game going to Polokwane played an impact on the scoreline? I mean, because you go to Polokwane, right, and it's already given by the fact that you're moving away from the core of your fan base, that you're going to be outnumbered. Pirates is a big team.
Yeah. Did
it play a role? I mean, our coaches had Pirates fans behind them at a home game.
It did. It did most because, as you've seen, it was supposed to be Sundowns' home game, but it felt like a Pirates home game because there was more Pirates fans than Sundowns fans, which is expected at Limpopo. You'll find more Chiefs and Pirates fans.
Yeah.
And if they moved it to Sundowns' advantage, but they did not do that, so Pirates had an advantage on that.
When
it worked for Sundowns.
Yeah, no.
Also, it's fans like you didn't go to the stadium who are part of the problem.
We'll talk about that offline. We'll talk about that offline.
Okay.
But for me, I think that's one thing that we've been complaining about ever since the fixture was released. It does not make sense that you would take such an important match to Polokwane and give that reason, knowing very well that the core of your fan base is sitting in Pretoria. You know, whenever we're in Pretoria, we on song. You hear, all those songs by the supporters. And when you go to Polokwane, even the sitting arrangement, in Pretoria, we know how we sit. We know, like you don't find Sundown supporters scattered. We sort of.
Kent was also saying, the least that Sundowns could have done was to actually release communication as to where the fans must be placed.
Yeah. To
release communication and to have fans be directed. Because I remember when Sundowns was playing CAF and FNB, the security would say, no, you're not allowed to go into this area. This is for the opposition fans. And that could have been something that was implemented for this particular game where... And Sundowns is a team that actually has supporters coordinators, right?
Yes.
Where it could have been planned, this is where the fans are going to be sitting and actually be directed towards it. It could have helped because you having your coaches, Hopela is in Yamakamumra.
And somehow, like, I know this may sound like an excuse, but when you're used to a certain type of vibe behind the benches and the subs, like somehow the songs, the rhythm rubs onto those players, even how they communicate with those ones on the pitch. But when you hear the opposition fans singing behind the coaches, somehow it feels like an away game. It doesn't feel like it's your own.
It played against Sundowns, and I think that's where they lost the game at first.
Yeah.
Besides getting
before we even got into the field.
Yeah, you can even see by the pictures that we saw, the ones that did not attend. You could see. Now you can see the structure that there were more Pirates fans than
actually
fans.
From someone who was there. So the field is an oval, right?
Yeah.
And a third at most, like a third or just a quarter was Sundowns fans, and the rest of it was Pirates fans. And you lost it. But to come to their defense, because Sundowns did release information through their structures.
Yeah.
Obviously, Loftus being a Vodacom stadium, it costs a lot. I won't state value figures because that's going to be the question of how I know. But it costs a lot to cover up to cover up the Vodacom branding at Loftus. So that you take that out of the picture. Now, Muripe and Tags have a capacity problem, and if you've noticed, Sundowns hasn't played Go Muripe this season because they're generally trying to move away from using Muripe at all. So, but the sad part about it is, in the club trying to save costs by moving to Polokwane, you are costing supporters more.
Yes.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, for KF as well, wasn't Royal Bafokeng an alternative? Like, I don't know the capacity of Royal Bafokeng. We played the home game there.
Yeah.
The Champions League, one of the matches in the Champions League, if I'm not mistaken, before we were knocked out. We played in Rustenburg. Maybe the pitch was not okay. We went to the final. So already we're familiar with the ground. It's close by. Even if
it's closer than Polokwane.
Exactly. That could have been an option, not taking it to Polokwane. No.
And I think also the thing about a home game is it must feel like home.
Yes.
There's something about Loftus that feels like home.
Loftus is home.
Loftus is home. So the familiarity of, if I'm hosting and I'm at my place, but if I'm going to host something at your place, even though I'm the host, I'm still a guest.
Yes.
Do you get it?
Yeah.
And your friends will feel more at home than me as the host.
Yeah, 100%.
But anyway, we are done with the things outside the field. Let's talk about the clobbering in the field. The clobbering in the field. I mean, significant changes that we have to point out. One, the coaches opt to start with Mvala as compared to AJ. Two, we obviously know Shalili is out, but you had Mutupa on the bench, but you're playing without a 9. There's just a couple of things, but I think I want to highlight those two. Mvala.
I think we're unfair.
How so?
I think coming to Mvala, we're unfair. Because Mvala is...
I wasn't saying Mvala was bad. Yes, I'm saying it's a significant change to the lineup.
Based on the comments we've heard, I mean, Mvala played midweek.
Yes.
For me, Mvala was one of the players that could have been the man of the match of that game if he played 90 minutes.
Not Gallants.
Yes, Gallants. Yeah. Yes. He played midweek.
Yeah.
And he was playing well because he understands what he's supposed to do. Mm-hmm. He understands his responsibility. Mm-hmm. He's not your AJ type trying to break the defense of the other team. His job is to defend.
Yeah.
And he does it. Yes. And he does it so well.
Yeah.
He makes sure he marks. He makes sure he breaks the attacking role of the opponent, which he does that very well.
Okay.
If you compare him to AJ, it's a problem.
Okay.
Now you have
because they're not the same player. Not even like they're miles apart.
They're not the same because now there's a chat that AJ should have started, which yes, but Mvala just played midweek. He played well.
And one could say that the Gallants game was prep for the Pirates game.
Yes, and now you have an issue because you played AJ against Pirates, which he did not play that well. Which there's a new signing at Pirates that say he never won a game at Pirates. He was the man of the match on that game when AJ was playing.
Yeah.
And the Mvala thing, he came on to mark him. That's why you had Mvala on that game. That's why they pepped Mvala to mark that Pirates midfield. And it's very unfortunate things did not work out, but we had AJ against Pirates with the same squad. It did not work out.
Yeah. Lehipi. I see, you are trying so hard to be modest. Modesty is not your thing. It really is not your thing.
Be violent. Be
yourself. Be yourself.
No, I can't be violent.
The club, the coaches decide to go with Mvala. And I think, because we know Mvala for a long time was a hot topic for Sundowns in terms of the debate with the fans. And I want to say, personally, I'm a big fan of the player Mvala has become. The same way Sailor has become a completely new player, right? Yeah. So I'm very proud of the player that Mvala has become. But I want us to talk about, was he the right? And funny enough, on our way to the game, now asked and said, who do you start, AJ or Mvala? And I confidently said Mvala, myself. But given the turn of events in that game, do you think Mvala was a great start?
For me, I don't know the right way of putting it, but hindsight is always a better teacher, because when you look at hindsight, you'd say, perhaps if I started with this one, I would have done better. But for me, I don't think we lost that game yesterday.
Okay.
I think we lost it in the first leg, or even before the first leg, because what the Marumo game did to us, we saw the glimpses of the Sundowns we know. So we became desperate to have the same team that has only started that game only.
Okay.
They've never played any other game. Like, we never had that lineup. It was the first time we had that lineup. Now,
because you've always had a 9.
We've always had a 9. We predominantly started with Maema. Mkulise and Tebza were only started against Lebase.
So you think maybe gelling of the team was an issue?
For me, what I've always said was, we have great players, but we don't have a team as yet. So now, when we saw what that team did, and they were not exceptional, but the way they moved the ball, they rotated the ball and so forth, it was so beautiful that we thought, this is it. Kandino, that was just the glimpses of what we know. We've been longing for that performance. But in reality, our forwards, you started with 3 10s.
Yeah.
2 of those 10s.
Zwane, Cirino, Allende.
Exactly.
And so to interject on that point, right, on the midweek game against Gallants, after Mvala went off, Gallants started to press high.
Yeah, because the destroyers are.
Yes, just like you say, the system was playing well.
But guys, okay, now let me ask. I hear, especially when Lehipi speaking of its glimpses, right? And I don't want to sound like a broken record here, because I've been saying this a lot on my episodes. You are having an awkward season because of the stop-starts we had.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
You just had an international break. You're going on a World Cup. You're going to play a game December against the very same Pirates.
Yes.
Right? Not just that, but you are playing more games than you now. Beginning of the season, you're playing more games more frequently than you normally would any other season.
Correct.
Right? That means there's fatigue.
Correct.
That means there's a lot more rotation that must take place.
Yes.
Right? So don't you think that is we haven't had a solid 11 this season. And understandably so, because you cannot be playing the same team when they're playing 6-7 times in a month.
Correct. There I agree with you, but just to come back to the game again. Hence, I'm not that angry or bitter because of the results.
Okay.
But I understand, because initially that was my view as well, that we're trying to get as many players as possible ready quicker so that they can.
Plus, there's a new system that the coaches have implemented, so there's that as well.
Yeah, that's another thing. That's another belly.
That's clowning.
That's another belly.
Guys, I think any system looks like clowning until it fully makes sense.
Yeah, as long as it doesn't make sense, it's clowning.
No, but look at this. I asked one of our fellow members when he said, guys, give this system a chance. Of all the people that I've spoken to, after every game we won, I always said, we thank God for the results. We move. I never necessarily spoke about how we played, because I haven't been sold with this system.
And you're probably not going to be sold given the season we are having. And this is what I keep saying.
Yes.
No, you are going to take a break.
Yes.
When you come back at Gen 1, it's going to be like beginning of the season again.
But let me just bring it closer to home.
Yes.
We go Wednesday. We've had this system that has more or less seen us having close to no shot at goal this season. Now you have this lineup, the setup that looks like the old us that everyone has been longing for. The only area areas that I had an issue with was
The front four.
the front three. Yeah,
Okay.
the front three. That's why I had an issue because, like, I still don't think it's a good idea to start Allende and Sereno because they always maybe it's the tactics.
Maybe that language, ha.
No, but
Maybe it's the language.
Then things come communicate.
Because maybe I want to play them together for the language better.
it could be
Because
but the
it
problem-
also because one thing you don't realize is it also helps with the chemistry
Yes,
on
it
the
does.
field. It
It
does.
No.
It does.
Granted, it helps. But my problem is when they occupy the same zone, the same space. Then when we're supposed to have some sort of a playmaker, someone who will make a stick, rotate the ball to the side, just in front of the box. There is a big hole. There's no one because they are on the side, both of them.
Yeah.
You understand? They were too wide for my liking, both of them. And we know Sereno how he plays. Sereno, you must allow him to be himself.
Serena is best when you give him a free roll.
Exactly. You see. So now, for me, it would have been perfect had we had Allende closer to Umshishi, as if they are twin false nine. Just closer.
So as if you're doing. Okay, I get what you mean. But now, when you'll go on forever. And now, last point. And
No,
we all know.
can I ask him a question quickly? AJ and Mvala, was that?
AJ and Mvala. For me, I was indifferent. I don't want to lie. Any of them starting, I was okay with it.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it clearly showed that it was not so much of a good idea because of how Pirates was squeezing us in the middle.
Yeah.
They couldn't play. And against Marumo, Mkulise had to come and collect. Now, when you have a congested middle...
When you prefer AJ. Now, last point about the Pirates game.
Yeah.
And if you know me, you know this was bound to be a conversation that was going to come out. My goat scores against my team. And then he takes off his shirt. I don't know. For me personally, right? And we all know that there is no player bigger than the team, right?
Yeah.
But Kali Romeo is spiritual. Let's just leave it at that, right?
Yeah.
A former Sundowns player who struggled to get game time at Sundowns goes to his old team and it's back to magic. And he scores against this team. Let's leave what he tweeted. It's fine.
Yeah.
Did he tweet?
He tweeted. I get after he scored, he went to the Sundowns fans.
Oh, that's why Dinklage did reply to the tweet, I think, and Dinklage said.
Let's leave the tweet out of it. Yeah. But the performance itself, he's been playing fairly well at Pirates, and he comes and he scores against his former team.
It was bound to happen. Look, players in
the PSL have this thing where they score against the former team and they don't celebrate. But no, not my goat.
No, look. Players that have...
No, they pretend not to celebrate.
No, they pretend.
I can just use Dupree as a reference. He scored against Tennis, MTN8, and he went like... and immediately after 10, he was like...
No,
okay.
Look, first of all, you deserve to celebrate because you
just got a goal.
You just got a goal and you have new employees that you're working for.
Yeah.
I mean, look, forget about your past. But the thing is, he took it
to the past.
Yes.
He took it to the past.
He's the one that took it. Probably, maybe can say emotions played, because he's been at Sundowns for 2 seasons, if I'm not mistaken. 3 seasons. Yeah, he had two full seasons. Yeah. I think the third one maybe was injured.
He had a very first season where people were saying Sereno can go.
Yeah.
Yes, I remember that.
Yes, that one. He had like 2 seasons not playing. And probably maybe because he had anger on that and he wanted to take it to the team and say, look, you made a mistake.
In your face.
Yeah, in your face. And he was happy, man, he took off his shirt and he also tweeted.
Man, anyway, let's move to the Marumo Gallants game.
No, can I just touch on that one? Guys, we need to understand that not all relationships will end well.
Yeah.
And there is one coach who once said,
Mara, do you go back to your ex and you're like, look,
yes.
No, that is a little bit immature.
Yeah.
That shouldn't have happened. We've congratulated him for finding greener pastures.
Yeah.
There are people who work for him. At Sundowns, you work for your position, and unfortunately, like the former coach used to say, it did not work
I,
out.
I think as fans, we also have to learn to move on. When a player moves, you say, look, it did not work out. Good luck.
Let's move on.
Yeah,
because
move
I
on.
saw even, we said we're not going to talk about the tweet, but let's talk about the tweet. People were swearing at him.
Yes, people.
And I think it's very you're not a sportsman, but it's still very unsportsmanlike, because at the end of the day, I think we forget that we're dealing with human beings on the other end of this thing.
Yeah.
You know, I think what he did was a bit distasteful. Not the celebration. I don't mind the celebration, but I think the tweet was a bit unnecessary.
It was.
But the Sundowns fans' reaction to it was even more unnecessary.
Yeah. And I think he enjoyed that. I think he wanted that. I think he wanted to provoke.
Not them, but that cloud. My goat is one of them.
Yeah, he.
No, my goat.
It's not the first time. I think partially it's also about how do you respond to those tweets. I mean, some other tweets you just leave them and just be.
Yeah, just let things.
You don't have to fight fire by fire. If things don't work out, things did not work out. That's just it.
And funny enough, all these tweets about your exes, they have a funny way of coming back to haunt you.
Yeah.
I've seen players who have done that before, particularly with my team, and things didn't really turn out well for them. Maybe first.
There's this other former player of yours who even wrote an open lip, and you sit in first class while your players sit.
No, the translator is the one who wrote the letter. The translator wrote the letter.
Okay, no, it's fine. It's fine about your politics and your team.
Your
problems are made. Your issues are made.
Sir.
Yes.
Sir.
Sundowns.
Sir, don't throw stones at the glass house. Please.
No, I can take this one, guys. Issues are just as many.
Gallants game Wednesday.
Yes.
1-0.
Yes.
Are we creating as many chances as we should? And you already alluded to the fact that the system is somehow not creating enough chances. And of the chances that are being created, are we converting enough?
No.
Before even coming to creating, Sundowns used to create chances.
I think the era of 4-2-2-2 diamond, for me, unmatched. Unmatched.
But now, we say we've created chances. I think we put ourselves in better positions to create chances. We've never really created a chance where you could say a clear-cut chance. You understand?
Yeah. And you know the problem with stats. Stats will give you shots on target or shots, 25 shots. But those are half chances.
Yeah.
Those are chances that you take outside the box or maybe inside. Those are not clear-cut chance that you can say, this guy missed a clear chance. It does not happen as much at Sundowns. And I think the midweek game, it was supposed to be a wake-up call. Look, this false 9 thing is not working.
But who are you? Okay, your coach, Shalu is out, Abu is out.
You have a player there.
Are you playing Mutupa or Cassius?
Mutupa is there.
Not Cassius. I play
Mutupa
Cassius. Me?
Look, Mutupa.
I play. You know, Coach Mangoba after not Gallants. What was the game before Gallants? La Paz. Coach Mangoba said if there's one player who always has a goal in him, it's Cassius. And after he goes and he scores a hat-trick, you don't start him.
No, it's
a man who's looking to prove a point.
I don't study. Let me tell you where I think it went wrong for us. Saluli has been our go-to guy for the past 2 seasons.
Mm-hmm.
You have an opportunity. This is the first season you probably had Mutupa fit. You had just released 2 strikers.
Maybe Alachon Bibir.
Yeah, Bev is another thing as well. Yeah, but then you have Umutupa in cases. What I would have expected, because one thing I know about South African coaches, they will never throw in a youngster. They will never.
But I think okay. And let me tell you for me why I say Cassius over Mutupa, right? And this in no way, because people think I'm not a fan of Mutupa. This in no way is true. It's not true at all.
Yeah.
I like Mutupa, right? But here's why I put in Cassius, right? A big game is the perfect opportunity for a youngster to prove himself, because youngster has everything to prove.
And the drive.
They have the drive, they have the hunger, and I buy face. The same thing I could say, okay, Saleng not really, but you know how Saleng doesn't care who you are? He comes at you.
He's naive. And
that's the beauty of a youngster.
Yes.
The beauty of a youngster is they're naive, they don't care. And for me, I feel like that's why you throw in Cassius. Cassius has guts. The man has, the young lad has balls.
I love that boy. But I love that boy.
He has balls.
You know, I told KG about the boy when they knocked us out of the DTC shield. It was wearing number 14, remember?
Yeah.
That this is a diamond in the rough, you know. But for me, as much as I love Cassius, like I love the boy, what I would have preferred, because you know when you play Pirates, you know very well that the way the game was going, they were gonna hold back.
Yeah.
And try to be more defensive.
Yes.
What I love about the boy, the fact that he can hold the ball, go to the byline and give you those crosses. He likes going sideways. Then you get Umutupa to start the match. But then you need to prepare him first. The first game of La Paz, he was supposed to start. The first game. And the second game, then you bring Cassius. Like even if you start Cassius the second game, but you give Mutupa minutes. The previous
so then
game,
he also,
build up like his fitness. And then coming to Marumo Gallants, when you see that it's not working out, because we just got a goal and we didn't really create much, then you take out Allende, because I see our coaches don't really, like they will rather take out Serino than take out Allende. But then when you have Serino, for me, if you had Serino and Mshishi and Mutuba will always linger around the defensive line. And then you release Mushishi to drop and initiate play, find Gaston and Pito also coming in from deep. Then you have numbers, you are able to knock those balls. When you go sideways, Mutuba is just
he's there in the box.
Like he's there in the box. You understand? Then you start building up onto that. And then you see whether it works against Maroon. Then you go into the Pirates game, you do that. Because already you saw that the two guys, they take our game to the side. And when you're coming from the side, facing three like center backs, it's not that easy for you to penetrate because you're coming from an awkward angle. You understand? And it's both of you.
Do you know one other thing that I did not understand at the stadium when I was there? Mukulis, every time he pushes forward, there was no one in the box, so he had to delay.
I think it also comes back to the fact that you have 3 10s. So you have no one naturally coming to close.
Yes.
Because what you have and what you have as a similarity in Serino, Allende and Zwane is they're not the type that are gonna score easy goals. They're the type that are trying to create. They're the type that are trying to come with creativity. So when somebody else comes in with the ball, you like the final man to chip it in.
Yes.
You like the final man to just put in the ball. So I think that might have been the challenge. Mara someone else. Gallants game. Zungu.
Can't we talk about Lebusa, how he had a good game?
Lebusa, okay, we know Lebusa is not a talking point for me. But let's talk about Zungu, right? Yes. And I want us to have, and my thing with Zungu is it tends to be such a divided conversation, right? But fact, he's off pace, he's off rhythm, he's been saying he's fat. Guys, are we putting him to, and you know what my challenge is, right? I think we all know and we're all aware of the talent of Zungu, right?
Yeah.
But when you give people something that is not ready to be fed, like when you feed people something that is not ripe, right?
Yeah.
You make them resent it, even if it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
And I think for me, that might be the case with Zungu here. They're shoving Zungu down our throats before we are ready to eat Zungu. And Romo can't.
Can I say, Lehipi calls me at 2 a.m. Just to discuss that point. But, no, guys, I'm tired of Lehipi calling me at night and say KG. I don't understand this. But you know, for me, I think they should come with an explanation why they're forcing him. Because the World Cup.
Right.
The World Cup is coming, right?
Okay.
Yes.
And ask our mama the World Cup.
The Bev.
Guys, you see the Bev.
Guys, but look, the World Cup is coming. PSL games are the next week is the last game with the PSL. So you have time. At least this season, if you have a month, right, that you can take a break and fix your teams.
Also,
And
if he's a smart player, he uses the international break to shed the weight.
He should. I think
if he's a smart player, he uses the break to shed the weight, not to gain more. Because I think as much as and here's the thing, because I think at some point we need to stop. I feel like there isn't a need for us to cuddle Zungu.
Yeah, no.
There isn't a need, and I feel like what the coaches are doing right now is cuddling the man. We don't need to cuddle you. We need you to come. We need you to perform. If you're not ready to be performing, you sit. How many players have sat on the bench because they're not ready to be good?
And you know,
80 when he came to Sundowns.
Took a while. And look at
No,
AJ
he was
now.
told.
George Madulek.
AJ was told
Madulek.
that there is Tlholo who's fit, who's delivering on the pitch. You will have to work hard and wait for your chance.
I remember Nelly gave me a finger handmill. Nelly gave me a finger. We were watching it together.
Oh, that game where
What game was
Lepasa, I think it
It was
Lepasa, yes.
Yeah, we wanted to go out.
Oh man, I just saw.
Because they posted 90 minutes on him.
Yeah.
Like in all honesty, at the current, like with the current shape, I don't think Zungu can actually give it 20 minutes.
His passes are Gucci. Like I say, you can't take away what he gives the team.
No,
you can't take that away.
But
he's not ready to be in it.
Even Sapa, the thing is, we know what he can do, and he keeps on enticing us with one or two of those passes.
Yes.
If you remember with Lepas,
Now imagine what a fit Zungu would do.
and that's all we
That's
ask
why
him for.
Mamelodi fit.
Yeah. That's all we ask him for.
Yeah.
And anyone who thinks it's right to play Zungu, they must come out and tell us
Why?
Because the coach is saying
no.
he knows we are not happy.
That's what.
He knows we are not happy, but we are paying him.
That's why like there has to be, you know, there's some things that you can see off and say, look, there's this guy, and for us, when I say us as Chiefs fans, as Rivals fans, we were better, but at the end of the day, I think everyone wants him to do well.
Sure.
I mean, he's not done well at overseas, and I gave him a lifeline.
I don't know my 2K.
But can I ask you this?
Yes.
Apparently.
Yes, apparently.
Apparently.
Mr. Bev.
Mr. Bev.
Yeah, he's.
Guys,
we expect him to cook on the pitch.
Yeah, we expect him to cook.
The chef.
Yeah, he's cooking something.
I know.
Yeah. But I want him, honestly speaking, for me, I think when you go to Sundowns, and Sundowns is a top team in pitch. I mean, you don't win the league 5 times, and you don't
clowning.
Yeah,
you don't win the pitch, the league 5 times by drinking the bev.
Yeah.
Players, Mara, you guys, the next day,
and
what nonsense is that?
I mean, look, if you had a team and you're not playing, the team is winning the league. Obviously, they did not need you at that point because they just won the league.
Yes.
Whether you're not playing or not, as long as they win something, that means they had a solid squad to compete. And you don't go to Sundowns because you have some connections for you to play. You go there to compete for your place.
Oh, hello, sir. Connections. All right.
No, I'm saying not connections. I'm saying.
I mean, you're allowed to throw shade.
No, I'm saying
you're allowed.
You need to compete at the end of the day.
All right. Okay.
You know, you mentioned something very important. Ask yourself when you say you meet these players, ask yourself a player who is actually taking a good care of himself, knowing very well that there is a player, irrespective of how he conducts himself, you would see him on the pitch.
Discipline, guys, and you know
what does that do to the squad?
Yeah.
And because, you know, coaches, they say coaches always prefer well-disciplined players, not just because like you love as a coach, you love a player you know you can depend on.
Yes.
Right. Who you know has so bad, like you guys. We used to laugh when Peter said Mabu was from a good family. You want players like that as a coach.
Yeah.
Because they're dependable. You know, the night before the game, this person is sleeping.
Yeah, no, it's a problem.
Yeah.
It's a big problem.
The discipline is a problem. In any perspective, it's a problem.
And I just want to add something. You know, it's all good and well as a player to go to Sundowns and ride on the wave of success of other players. But this thing of players just coming in and thinking that they will
And
just
paychecks.
come for paychecks. At the end of the day, you found us winning the league. What are you bringing?
True.
You cannot come to Sundowns and say, I've contributed to the league. We won it when 4-5 times when you were not there. What are you bringing now?
I think also in EPL, I think Quinton Fortune, when he was playing for United.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I stand to be corrected. There was a time where I think he played like 14 games where an EPL, when you win a medal, you're supposed to play the amount of games, maybe 15. I think he missed one game to get the medal. And also, I think also at Sundowns, you get people that says, I'm a PSL winner, right, Champions winner, but this guy hardly even played like 100 minutes.
Sure. Soma was a good example.
And they're happy.
Soma was a good example. Okay, guys. Before we move on to the ladies' team, I want to put it on record that I did not discuss Williams, even though he considered 3 goals. So this agenda that I hate.
No, but you're unfair. You're unfair. No.
I am purposely
not
discussing.
No, those goals.
Williams. We are not discussing him.
When you purposely say you did not discuss Williams, you should have started with saying, I'm purposely not discussing our fullbacks' contribution to Williams conceding 3 goals.
Yeah.
Let's move to the ladies' teams.
But those are proper goals, eh?
Sundowns ladies team. It seemed like whole tense. The surface is not holding. But Coach Jerry and Coach Agnes have managed to, they're back on an upward trajectory. You know, last game they won 8-0. The game before that, they won 9-0. Are we ready for Champions League?
Yeah, they seem to have shaken off the rough patch that they had, and they look like a formidable team that we all grew to know. But you know, for me, I know this is biased. You know, whenever I see the starting lineup and I don't see Kasam, I can feel it sharp.
That's me. No. But I think. Why? Okay, let me try and understand why.
You know, Kasam gives you, like when you're watching the ladies' team, like he gives you those images of Klompokekan. The way, you know, that he drives, she drives the ball, the way he rotates the ball, those long passes to Bomurich on the side, Boroda and the likes, you know, like that woman is a beast.
I don't know, for me, and I've been saying this, for me, I think Melinda is player of the season so far.
True.
Uncontested. She's been, and you know, with and DC were injured. You know, she just came back the last game, and she came back and she scored like the great striker she is. But I think with Andisiwe being injured for that long, Melinda has really stepped up. I think going into Champions League, she will be the player to look out for. I think she has been something so amazing.
I'm actually concerned you never asked about Sundowns. Are they prepared for the Champions League? Because
the gents?
Yeah, the ladies.
No, we'll come back.
The ladies.
No.
I don't know, man. I think before the last 2 weeks of games, I was scared personally about the Champions League continental finals. Because I was like, okay, because there was the loss, right?
Yes.
And then after the loss, it's like 1-0 wins or it's like draws and
uncharacteristic.
Very uncharacteristic of uncharacteristic.
This four.
Yes, of this team, you know, because they're lethal. You know, you have Bumi Tumelo getting hat tricks.
Yes.
She's a midfielder. A hat trick, and for that team to now look like they're dipping, for me was a bit of a worry, right? But I think with this upward trajectory that we see now, is there hope? Are we defending our Champions League title?
But you see, you know, with Coach Jerry, like I'm still trying to figure him out, you know, because he likes rotating his players, you know, like just.
And I think he does it well.
He does it so well. Like you know, we talk about these ones that we've seen in the previous season, but there's this young crop of players.
Yo. Who's this lady?
Mini.
Yes, you have.
Minis.
Yes, Minis. You have. Daweti's playing more now. He's playing more now. Who do you have? This defender. I'm forgetting her name. But you have all of those. Witumelo is also not a frequent player from. We just got her, so she's been playing more this season. So you are seeing more and more and more of these other players, and it just looks like we have it on lock.
Yeah, and you can see, like, I don't know whether they're trying to slowly, you know, prepare the team for life after the senior players like Abu, the captain, what's his name? Zanele.
Yes.
You know, because like in like this season she hasn't really featured much. You have Mbani and Abu Makurubeti.
Yeah, Mbani has been taking a break. Makurubeti has been starting on the bench a bit more.
Exactly. You know,
she's not
on and off.
Yes.
But the young ones,
even Sticks, they have been resting her as well.
Correct. Yeah. So, like for me, like I think they are picking at the right time. I think we're gonna be good with them, and I'm glad Melinda has actually came out of her shell, because I always felt like she was
I think
too reliant on Andiswa, you know.
Yes.
So she
100%.
Because
100%.
she's a good player.
She's a quality player, but I think because she's always had that safe net, Andiswa, Andisiwe. I mean, she's always had that safe net, Andisiwe. And now with Andisiwe being injured, it's just forced her to come out of her shell, and she's.
Exactly.
I think if I'm not mistaken, she's amongst the top goal scorers this season. So, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah. So I'm gonna ask you guys 5 questions, right? You have 2 seconds to answer.
2.
You don't think about it much.
Okay.
I just ask a question.
Okay. Do you answer the same?
It's the same question.
Okay, he answers first and then answer.
That side.
No, you can start that side.
I'll start here, then I start here.
Okay.
Right?
Yes.
All right. First question, Coach Mangobo or Coach Shulani?
I think I've been very clear. I've been very clear.
You've been very clear. But let's put it on record before the cameras.
The one who gives me confidence, Coach Mangobo.
Coach Mangobo or Coach Shulani?
And I'll kick the cooler box.
I want it to be clear, so you're saying Coach Shulani?
No.
Alright, then I come this side. Dennis Onyango or Ronan Williams?
It's clear.
Ronan has done well. We need to prepare for life after Masinde.
Okay, a home game in Polokwane or in Rustenburg?
Rust.
Bafuke. Go Bafuke.
Okay, you guys answer the same. Alright, Nedbank Cup for Sundowns or the new one that replaced Telkom, the Black Label Cup?
Nedbank is
Now I always go with any significant by order of significance. It's Champions League, it's the league, it's Nedbank Cup. The rest, you know.
Okay, last one has absolutely nothing to do with Sundowns, and I want each of you to answer it in your capacity as the supporter of your club.
Mm-hmm.
Who do you prefer winning MTN8, Amazulu or Pirates?
I think we owe it to Josh Maluleke. Man deserves it. So yeah, I think Amazulu.
You want Amazulu to win based on George Mali? Like, you are a very bogus man.
There's no.
It must be on record. You're very bogus.
Do you know? You said in my capacity. Do you know how I was harassed by those hooligans from Orlando? They've been fetching me.
Got you.
From this nil-nil draw yesterday and throughout the body.
I got you guys. Thank you so much for gracing me with your guys. This thing we've been trying to shoot for 4 hours. Yeah, very load shedding, right? The restaurant thing, shoot the apala, rabua. Very a special thank you to our cameraman, who you guys can't see. Are you single? But I was singing. I was gonna sell him, but I'm not singing. Thank you guys so much. I know it's been a while since we've had an episode of the Roundup. We actually shot a very fire episode and then technology dribbled us. But this is also a fire episode. So thank you guys for watching. I promise I'll be back next week. I promise this time. I'll be back next week with another episode of the Roundup. To my 2 gents over here. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
No, thank you. Thank you. This was a nice experience. I really enjoyed.
So you're coming back. When I call you again and I say another episode, you're coming back.
I'll think about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Champions League. From me, Madam Chair, we are out.
Thank you. Thank you.